as we get ready to go now. Sorry for the delay. Looks like one of the cars earlier on this morning in the warm-up sessions. They're just emergency warm-up sessions that are given to the drivers to get final preparations done to their cars, and it looks like one of those cars out on circuit may have had a small issue coming out of the boot. That's where the cars from Pabar Volkswagen Challenge are right now, and they might just be seeing for the first time the cleanup job that the Phakisa marshals have done here to ensure that we can go racing. So apologies there for the late start. We are supposed to have started at 20 past 8 this morning, and about half an hour delay there due to some oil spilt from one of the cars out in one of the practice sessions this morning. So yeah, we are good to go now for the second round of the Regional Championships of Extreme Festival, and it's the third round of Pabar Volkswagen Challenge as they get ready to go now onto circuit. It's combined as well here in the Phakisa Freeway, and there you can see we're just outside of Welkom in the Free State of South Africa. If you're joining us from all around the world, a massive welcome to all of our friends and fans from all around the world watching from various areas. And I'm watching on my screen here, I've got some fans who've joined us from all around the world already, which is great to see, and it's great that you guys are going to enjoy the day with us. If you are watching, please do us a favor, just like and share it, pass it on to your friends and family as well, and any fans of motorsport, so we can grow the sport and grow the reach that we've got. And it looks like, as I said, another great day's racing expected here. Starting things off here with Pabar Volkswagen Challenge. Rory Atkinson and Charles Smallberger will line up on the front row for Class A, and as I said, Class A, B and C are combined for the first time this season. So that's always a nice thing to see, particularly at this big track. There's lots of room to play here, and there's also lots of space out there for a big field of cars to go racing, which is a great thing. And it gives you an opportunity to see all the cars together, which usually means we're in for a bit of an epic fight, because the back end of Class A usually ends up in near to the front end of Class B, and the same thing can be said for Class B and C as they get up close and personal with each other. So it could be a bit of a fight amongst the slower Class A's and Class B's, with the faster Class B's and Class C's respectively. As they come to take up their positions, it is the number 1 car on pole. Rory Atkinson in the BHIT Logistics machine put it on pole position ahead of the Sabertech car there on the right hand side of your screen of Charles Smallberger. And you've got a charge coming from Bevan Masters and Wayne Masters. They, of course, were the two cars who were basically unbeaten at the previous round of this championship. So it's going to be an interesting little fight at the front end between those kind of guys. And with the Masters boys behind that, they'll be looking to get through as quickly as possible, I'm sure, and bring along the likes of Valdi Mankis and Dean Ross for that battle. Mike Barbaglia will be in there as well, take nothing away from Mighty Mfana, and also, of course, Diovolt Turon and Luigi Ferro. Those are the Class A competitors. Class B, headed up by Elna Cruiser, who actually put it onto pole position there in the ATE car. She's just ahead there of Hannes Skippers, the doctor from Danefern, our dentist. He has got Bevan Williams and Ian Walker from Cycles United ride on his tail. Then Ross Butt and Stuart Mack. And you've got Stelio Nosios and Charisse Piazzamusa, who we chatted to just before we started things here, of course, in the 102.7 Racing Polo GTI. Ethan Katsia's behind her. Then you've got Pierluigi Mussolini. Great run so far there from him. Tyler Robinson makes up the ladies right behind each other there. So nice to see Tyler Robinson in the AF Fans car, also running out of Universal Motorsport. She's got Shrin Rajpal alongside her. Then you've got Tanain Kube, Francois van Sale, Jacques Hayes, and Martin de Beer. It's Chris Davison, and he's there, of course, Ilya Mussolini. And then it's Mo Karodia and Nicole Lombard, who will be at the back of the pack. And then behind that, we've got Class C, headed up by Philip Cruiser. Cruiser's ahead there of Yoti Nusias, and it's Andy Gossman, just ahead of Charles Anderson, Carl Pedersen, and right at the back there will be Michael Zafira. So that's how they're going to line up here for the first heat of Pabar Volkswagen Challenge. We're going to try and bring you up to speed, of course, with all of the action that happens as they go out on their final warm-up. Get some heat into the rubber and get those Dunlop tyres ready to go now for race action. And As you can see, as they head down into turn one, actually looks like the start there. Doesn't look like we've got another warm-up lap. They've gone straight into race action there, by the looks of things, because that's definitely some fighting for second place there between Charles Smallberger and Masters. Masters going around the outside of Charles Smallberger as they go in there. They usually get a warm-up lap, but of course they're not giving them there maybe because of the slightly delayed start. Ian Walker slots into fourth place, stays in fourth place as he goes into turn one, and the rest of Class B follow him through there for the first time. And as they head down towards turn three, it's going to be interesting stuff. This is Class A into three, and that's the toe of the boot. And the inside line there from Charles Smallberger might just be able to keep out Masters' attack. Bevan Masters being forced wide there by Smallberger. Smallberger will hold that inside line and keep Bevan Masters out in the CPS warehouse car. Class C head down in towards turn number one as Class A are coming out of turn 4 and 5. So that's the gap you're going to have between these guys as they go into it for the first time. And it's not a bad start here at the front end of Class C. You can see it's going to be a bit of a fight on there. Yachty and Philip Cruiser going at it. Yachty this year is actually getting the drop slightly there on Philip Cruiser as they went down into turn 2. But right on their tail, you can see Gossman putting the pressure on right from the word go. And the Goose Racing man is looking for a way through there right at the start of things. Good start from Zafiro. He's made up a couple of positions as they went into the toe of the boot. So that's how things start out here for Class A, B, and C all combined. And looking forward to what's going to happen here at the front end. Valdi Mikey's at this stage is dropping back slightly as they go down into Gielkop. The double right-hander at the end of the straight. Dean Ross having a look on the inside as well, trying to find a way through there, and that was a big dive. Trying to find a way there, I think, on Dioval Teron. At the front end, it looks like it's going to be plain sailing for the man at the front of his field. No worries at all so far for Rory Atkinson as he leads things out. So Atkinson is the man to catch at this stage. Charles Smallberger fighting with both the Masters boys there for second and third. And then just dropping back slightly there. Mark Bavaglia just having a little bit of an issue there. A little bit further back in the pack. Here comes Class B into the final corner. Inside line. It looks like that Cycles United car there of Ian Walker dropping back ever so slightly. So just watching to try and get our live timing up as well. And hopefully we get you an indication of exactly who's who in the zoo there for Classes A, B, and C. C at this stage. Battles on between Gossman. And looks like he's fighting there with Philip. So Philip Cruiser and Andy Gossman in the fight there for second place. Good morning, Belinda. How are you? Nice to see you guys joining us there. Atkinson leads out overall, as you can see there on the graphic on the left-hand side. And then in Class B at this point in time, a big fight on. Looks like kind of Skippers is hanging on just ahead of on the Cruiser. This is Class C coming out of the final corner. And that's Philip Cruiser, who is almost side by side. Exactly what we're seeing here between Hayes and Mussolini. In fact, it's Carodia, beg your pardon. Mussolini's car, it's actually Mo Carodia. Fast 5 Motorsport around the outside of Jacques Hayes. And just ahead of that, look at Charisse van der Merwe, or Charisse Piazzamusso, beg your pardon. She's now, of course, married to the Piazzamusso family, and into that family is a great place to be in terms of prep on a race car, and that car seems to be working really well at this point in time too. Raj Paul just behind that, trying to find a way through there on Mussolini. Mussolini trying to find a way through there on Smith. So some fights happening in the Class Bs as we expected. It's the kind of action we normally see in Class B, and it's really, really good stuff to see how close these guys get up close and personal with each other. Ladies in there as well, remember. AF Fans car of Tyler Robinson just off the back of this pack, trying to close down on the back end and get onto Rajpal if she can. As they come down that back straightaway into the very fast right-hander, you can see that's where things could change up, and we already expect to see some overtaking into Gielkop. It's the second last corner where we see lots of race action, particularly in this category. And a lot of saloon car categories today, we're going to be seeing that kind of action again. Car around the outside, trying to find a way through. Ooh, Skippers runs wide. Skippers putting some Dunlop rubber onto the dirt. That's not going to be what he wants. Cruiser side by side there. Williams coming around the outside. Veltner trying to find a way past Bevan Williams now. Potentially going to look to try and outbrake the ATE brakes car into turn one. Not going to happen. As Cruiser slots up one position. Ian Walker, Charisse. Oh, good move there from Charisse. Inside line in the Hot 1027 racing car. Trying to find a way on the inside there of Ian Walker in the Cycles United machine, and they go side by side. And just coming out there, looks like it might have just been a change-up between the two of them. That's a bit of a problem there for the B18 car as well. Not quite where he wants to be, that is for sure. So some issues there in that mid-pack of Class B. Back to Class A at the front end. And continuing action there between the two Masters boys and Smallberger. You can see the work that is to be done just on the inside of the left-hand wheels of those cars. And maybe get a bit of the dust being kicked up there from the oil that was dropped earlier on. That's the reason we kicked things off a little bit later than what we expected. So Bevan Masters, the CPS warehouse car, all over the back of that Sabertech Universal Motorsport machine of Smallberger, and now trying to get the slipstream down the back straight away. Wayne Masters lining up in the background, just looking for a way through if anything goes wrong there in the Performance Masters polo. But this is a great three-way battle for Class B's second place, Class A second place, I beg your pardon, as they head down in towards Skill Cup now. Double right, finish up the penultimate corner. Coming out of that, let's go back and see what's happening with Class B. So some manoeuvring happened there. You can see Ethan Gutsia in the JLT and Lee Thompson Racing Machine looking for a chance now to close down onto the back end of Bevan Williams. Bevan Williams has not found a way through just yet. Some big fights expected here. Further back in that pack, the Easy Parts car coming through there. That, of course, is Ross Butt. He's trying to find a way to close the gap down now on Charisse Piazzamusso. Running wide, completely out of shape there in second place. That's definitely not what you want to be doing. And that could be costly. It certainly is. Inside line as Stuart Mack gets the motor down one place. Oh, a little touch between Mack and Kutsia. Kutsia and Mack coming to grips there as they came out of the final corner. Ethan Kutsia will try and squeeze out and stay ahead of Elna. Elna Cruiser drops back behind Ethan. Ethan now slots in, as you can see, behind Stuart Mack. Stuart Mack's made up a lot of ground. He has come from a long way back there, quite where he normally starts in 6th place in Class B, but he's now up into what is 4th place on track. So nice manoeuvring there from Stuart Mack to find a way through. He's got Kutsia right there with him in the JRT machine. And looks like problems with Michael Zafiro's car on the inside line. Guy's going to see it for the first time as they try and fan out there for the toe of the boot. Mussolini tucking in. Oh, and everybody's slowing up because of the safety car. Late braking from Jacques just misses Rajpol, and that's the reason for the safety car. Safety car's out because Michael Zafiro's car is in a dangerous position. So everybody will slot in behind the dock now. Hannes Skippers will have the concertina effect behind him, unfortunately, now, as the safety car has been deployed due to the stricken car there between turn 2 and 3. So the toe of the boot on the right-hand side of the circuit is Michael Zafiro's car stricken. And unfortunately, there he is standing on the sideline. Oh, he doesn't look happy. Something not gone wrong, not gone right on that car. So classes A, B, and C now will basically concertina up completely. And I know the drivers have sort of been given the indication that they need to give a bit of a gap if they do the restart, which they will try and do. It's not always easy to do when you're in the heat of the moment on a restart. You're going to try and not get caught out by your fellow competitors. Safety car situation. It is the, of course, Pretoria No Toyota 86, the official safety car of Swartkops, but of course the official safety car and pace car of the Extreme Festival as well, for the categories that don't provide their own ones. So there you have it. Roy Atkinson slots up behind the safety car and will now finish up a couple of laps behind that safety car to try and ensure that we can get that situation cleared up.
It's a blue car. As soon as that car has passed.
So I'm also just giving a heads up to Paul inside the studio. Have you got timing, Paulie? Because I'm battling to get the live timing here. I'm not quite sure what's going on. If you've got it, let me know. So looks like we are battling a little bit there with the live timing. Hopefully it comes up at some point, but if it doesn't, we'll just keep an eye on the lap boards if we can and see what happens as they get into the second part of this race once we get the car cleared just before the boot section here at Phakisa Freeway. So it's Rory Atkinson who leads things out for Class A. Dr. Hannes Skippers leads out for Class B, and I think it's Yotti Nusias who is also leading out for Class C. There's another car on the outside. That's Andy Gossman's car. That's the Goose Racing Andy Gossman car, and you can see Andy parked on the sideline also looking a little bit despondent. It's definitely not where he wanted to be, I'm sure, when he got out of bed this morning and wanted to go racing here at Phakisa. And they've done an amazing job amongst the Extreme Festival organisers, as well as the local contingent here at Phakisa, to get the circuit up and ready and the permits signed off by Motorsport South Africa. At one stage it didn't look like we were going to go racing, but everybody sort of climbed in and was hands-on, and we've got clearance to go racing, which is now why we are on track and just waiting for those cars to be cleared out of harm's way. As I said, concertina effect now. Look at that. The entire pack down that back straightaway. It's just polos all the way down towards turn 5 and 6. Unchini 1 and Unchini 2. Just watching those lights as well, just to make sure that when those lights go out, if we're going to go racing or not. They're still on. We'll keep an eye on those to ensure we go into the race procedures. There you can see Class C just holding back slightly there. Yachty just giving themselves a little bit of breathing room, so he doesn't get mixed up too much with the back end of Class B. It is really cool to have all the competitors lined up. Goes down to 21 rows of the grid, but of course there are 2 rows missing. So that's 38 cars that are on track for the first part of today's proceedings. Looks like another lap under safety car. COC's not happy just yet. Just wanting to try and pick up on those lap boards as well. Paul, if you wouldn't mind, just tell Dave, because we don't have timing, just to keep an eye on the lap boards as well as we go through, if he can. Okay, so 3 laps to go there. Thanks for that, Paul. So we're probably going to have a 2-lap sprint race here if we do have one more lap under safety. As I said, it is super to have all 38 cars on track. Well, there are 36 of them now because 2 of them are out. But I definitely enjoy when Pabar, Volkswagen Challenge are combined into one big class, as opposed to when we get to the shorter circuits and they've got to divide them up into classes A and C, and then a separate race for Class B as well. Got a couple of guys joining us from all around the world as well. Great to see that all the way from KwaZulu-Natal. I see Rob Priest has joined us. As I mentioned, Moira Thompson's already here, along with Belinda Groenewald. That's great to have our lady fans here. They are big fans of the motorsport, those two. And it looks like we've also got some collaboration happening with Shabba on Instagram too, watching from some of the platforms we've got available today. If you are watching, it's either, of course, on the event page here at the Extreme Festival for the Phakisa 200 event. You might be joining us on YouTube or on yours truly's page there, the voice of choice. So, massive welcome to all of you. Looks like safety car has upped the wick slightly there. Just going to see if the lights are still on. They are for now. But he's definitely going a little bit quicker there, the pace car driver. So potentially by the end of the straight, those lights might go out. And hopefully we'll get 2 laps of race action. A couple of cars might be caught out here. You don't want to be losing the toe to cars in front of you right now. So Charisse Piazzamusso, you need to get a move on there and try and close that gap up. Bridge the gap to at least the back end of the next Class B car ahead of you. And then potentially the same thing can be said down in Class C with Yachty leading things out. Those Class C competitors can't be too far away from him by the time those lights go out. Otherwise, you're going to be caught napping. Looks like a bit of a grass fire on the left-hand side there at some point during the last couple of days on the soccer field. That soccer field, of course, was used at one stage when we still had South African Superbike racing here. Great event there, one of the events that we had here during, I think it was during Westbank Super Series days actually, where we got all the Superbike riders to play against some of the local Bafana players on that soccer field. But as you can see, it's a Slightly different soccer field to what we had in those days. Okay, safety car is in. And it looks like the Kivit is going to do the same thing and make his way out of the way, because it's going to be a hotly contended class coming your way now. Little birdie, watch out. Atkinson about to start the penultimate lap. He's got Smallberger right with him. No one can overtake until they cross the finish line. And that's when we'll go back to racing and green flags. So running wide there, Smallberger. He's got the pressure coming from Bevan Masters and Wayne Masters. Wayne Masters lost out slightly there on the restart. As you can see, the gap has now closed up dramatically onto the back end of Rory Atkinson as we start this penultimate lap of the first race of the day here, Pabar Volkswagen Challenge. And looks like Dean Ross also losing slightly there to Valdi Mikey's. Mikey's all on his own sim. Ross dropped slightly back, and then it's Mike B and Dierval Teron, Mighty Mfana and Luigi Ferro. They are the Class A competitors, and then there's a little bit of a gap there behind the Italian flag on top of that Pabar car. And the gap, of course, should be leading the 27 car of Dr. Hannes Skeppers. It is indeed. Skeppers with Stelio Nosios right on his tail. So Stelio has moved up nicely there, up in the second place. Stuart Mack also looking for a way through. And speaking of a way through, that's Elna Cruiser on the inside of Charisse Piazza Musso. Ross Butt behind them. And then it's Mussolini and Karodia. Walker Rajpaul. Behind that, and Kube with Hayes van Sale. We've got De Beer. Looks like a little bit of issues there. Thompson. And a nice start there from Davidson as well as they go through. Class B into turn 4. Big left-hander past the Coke bottle. There's a big Coke bottle on the right-hand side banking, if you've ever been yet to the Phakisa Freeway. So, as they head down into into Unchini 1, I should say. This is the DDS, Dane Fern Dental Services car of Hannah Skippers leading out Class B. Class A, though. Looks like Smallberger realizes he's running out of laps here. And is putting the pressure onto Rory Atkinson, trying to force some kind of mistake out of the multiple champion in this class. Not always an easy thing to do there with Rory Atkinson. He is a seasoned campaigner in Pabar Volkswagen Challenge and has had the number 1 plate on numerous occasions. He's got it for this year. He's looking to retain it if he can. He's got Sabertech and Universal Motorsport machine, Team Red Racing on the tailpiece. Then it's the CPS warehouse car and then Performance Masters. So with a lap to go, we assume, they now head down towards turn 1 in Class A. Problems. Oh, that's a big one. Oh, that's a huge one, because that's one of the Pabar cars there. That's Mike Babaglia by the looks of things, who might have just got a tap there. Yes, he has. A couple of cars out of shape. In fact, 4 or 5 cars out of shape there. One of them is Ian Walker. Walker had nowhere to go because there was a car stricken in the middle of the final corner. And now it's just left, right, and trying to avoid the car in the center. There's a big crash down at the final corner. Yeah, it looks like a huge amount of cars getting involved in that one. Just trying to pick up on them. One is Walker, one is Williams. Looks like it might be the 23 car as well there. And that's not where that car wanted to end up, I can tell you that much. It's not the way things wanted to run there, that is for sure. So Bevan Williams is definitely one of them. Stelio Nusius is the other one, that's B23. And it's the Pabar car at the back of the field that had the issue and got stuck in the middle of the final corner. I think that might be because of the Italian flag on the helmet. I'm just trying to pick up on the number. I think it was B13. Yeah, Mike Babaglia, who got stuck in the middle of the final corner. Walker's out. He's okay, fortunately, walking away from the car there. You can see Ian Walker there from Cycles United. But there's a lot of damaged cars involved in that incident. And I think with that safety car coming out, they're going to finish on the safety car. But there are 5 cars, at least, on the final corner. And that's caused some huge, huge problems here for the Pabar Volkswagen Challenge. Williams is one of them. I don't know if he's got too much damage. He looks a little bit easier than the rest of them. The WeFix cars there of Stelio Nosius has definitely got a major problem. And you can see as well the 114 machine of Shrin Rajpaul also getting involved in that incident. There's going to be a lot of work to do for drivers down in pit lane to get this all sorted out. As we see lots of chaos. With a car stricken in the middle of the road. There was nowhere to go, and guys were concentrating on their races themselves. Didn't realize there was a slower car stuck in the middle of the track there from the Class A competitors. You can see our medical team there coming on. That's the wheel that actually came off Mike B's car, and there you can see there's bumpers and springs and bits and pieces of cars everywhere. So that's unfortunately how that that race is going to finish. They're pulling them into pit lane because of all the chaos there. So they will go a race lap back which means those cars will still be classified even though they're involved in that incident. With that race lap back, it'll be Rory Atkinson who would have taken Class A. I think Dr. Hannes Schippers was able to avoid the issue and finished up in the win in Class B. And then I would assume it's Yachty who's taken the win in Class C. But as I said, Mike B's car on the left-hand side is absolutely toast. I'm not quite sure who he got involved with there. He was fighting with Dieval Tehran and I think with Mighty Mfana. So those are the two cars we'd have to have a look at. It'll be, what is it, the front right of one of those cars that'll have damage. And then, of course, you can see in the background there, our next race getting ready to go. That'll be the Lotus Challenge. But that's going to be in a while now too, because we're going to definitely have some kind of a delay here after that big incident. So Lotus Challenge drivers are waiting in the demarcated pre-race area, but they could be waiting there for a little bit longer than what they expected. That is for sure, because there are 5 cars at least that need to be recovered. They will probably pull them through the side gate there of the Phakisa freeway. Whether or not they're drivable, we'll have to wait and see. There's certainly 2 or 3 of them that might not be drivable. One being Walker's, one being Mike B's, and possibly Stelios. Bevan Williams might be able to get into his car and get it going again, hopefully get it off the circuit. And I'm not quite sure if that Dubcall car of Shrin Rajpal, no, he's going to be pushed in. There we go, you can see a whole bunch of guys getting behind and helping to get that car out of harm's way. Pabar Volkswagen Challenge on track for their second heat, and we want to be looking out for a couple of cars that should be back on track, hopefully, after a couple of guys had big incidents in the closing stages of race number 1. Most notably, of course, would be the Cycles United car there of Ian Walker. We got to chat to him after he climbed out of the car in trying to avoid crashing into the stricken Pabar car of Mike Barbaglia, who was stuck in the middle of the track. And unfortunately 3 or 4 cars actually got involved in the incident as well. So as we make our way down through this field, I'm going to be looking to try and pick up on whether or not those cars have been able to get back on track or not by the start of Heat 2. Stelio Nosios was one of them. I don't think he's made it back on. I just got a message from him. I tried to get hold of him in the interim after the race and after the crash, once we'd spoken to Ian Walker to get his view of the incident. And unfortunately he didn't have his phone on him, so he wasn't able to pick up on action there. Bevan Masters diving into pit lane. Not quite sure why he's gone into pit lane. He must have an issue as Bev dives in there. And if he does go into pit lane, it means he'll have to start from pit lane as well. Quite sure what's gone wrong here, Paulie, but I've gone to a black screen. I don't know if you've got black in front of you as well. Maybe somebody's hit the cable outside. I've got it back. No, wait, I've got it. Thank you, buddy. I've got it. Couple of hands gesticulating and waving on the grid as they come to take up their positions now for the second start of Pabar Volkswagen Challenge. Front row, as you can see, there's the pink BHIT Logistics car of Rory Atkinson. Alongside him will be Wayne Masters. Bevan Masters dived into pit lane, so he's not in 3rd place. Charles Smolberger is definitely in 4th. And it looks as if coming to join us on the live stream as well. A couple of guys from all around the country. Here's our good friend Mark Friedman joined us too, by the looks of it. I think he might have. He's sending me messages on the sideline, so I would assume he has. Charles Anderson is back on track in the second of the Pabar cars, but I don't think Barbaglia is back on circuit. So his damage may have been too much. I'm also looking down there to see whether or not Bevan Williams has been able to sort out his car. And I don't know if I got to see the Cycles United car there of Ian Walker. He said they were going to try and get the car sorted out, but might have been too much damage. Fortunately, we don't have a camera that can go up and down the grid there to have a squiz, and we've got to try and pick them up from quite a distance. So if we can get the long shot, we can possibly pick up on some of the action, or some of the cars that were involved in the action. Okay, so Valdi's still there. That's good to see. He wasn't involved in the incident though. And if I go further back on that one, the reverse camera there shows us that we've got Marty Mfana, Luigi Ferro might be there as well, and I think Dievolteron was there too. Looks like Berthold at the back here has also had some problems. I think it's Bjorn Berthold, if I'm not mistaken, at the back of the pack. You know, they had to change the motor last night on that car here. And looks like the Renogen car is not even going to make it onto the grid again. So that's a big pity for him. They've worked frantically overnight to try and get it sorted, but it hasn't quite worked out. We understand his orders yet. We've got red flags at the front. We're waiting for a green flag at the back before we can go racing again here for the second heat of what is going to be another action-packed event, I'm sure, amongst all of our Pabar Volkswagen Challenge competitors. So they start Class A, and it is once again Rory Atkinson who holds shots into turn 1 ahead of Masters. He was ahead, of course, of a couple more competitors in Class A in the first one. Class B gets going, and looks like it's a dive around the outside there for Bevan Williams. Bevan Williams is back on track. You can see a bit of battle scars on the right-hand side of his car. But fortunately, that car is back again, and he's side-by-side there with Charisse Piazzamusso as they come out of turn 1. Class C gets going. Yotti Nusios, Cruiser, Anderson, and Spammers. That's the back end of the field in terms of Class C. And now they head into turn 1. Yotti hangs on ahead of Cruiser as they go into turn 1. And he'll just be trying to get away now and control things from the front end of Class C. Middle of Class B, that's Francois and Sal, Tanay and Kube. And the front of Class A, it's Masters onto the back end of Rory Atkinson, bringing along Charles Smallberger and Dean Ross for the ride. Valdi Mikey's in 5th place behind Ross this time. Yotti from Cruiser. Anderson from Spammers as they go into turn 2. That's your Class C top 4. Heading towards turn 3 now. Middle of the pack once again for Class B. And in that mid-pack, Jacques Hayes on the back end of Alna Cruiser. Cruiser behind Piazzamusso and Ross Butt. Butt now side by side with Charisse Piazzamusso. Class A heading down into the right hand at the end of the straight. Wayne Masters, I think he might have done a bit of tuning down to Performance Masters to get that car slightly quicker than what it was in the first heat, so they can stay in contention. Luigi Ferro is back on track as well. That's good to see. So it looks like the Cycles United car, unfortunately, of Ian Walker was not able to get back on track. 2 cars off track there. One is Dean Ross. The other one looks like it might have been Dievolteron. Just running wide ever so slightly out of turn 1. And sideways in that mid-pack as well of Class B. Starting to heat up a little bit in that mid-pack as well. It's great to see. So I'm just having a look to see what's happening at the front end here of Class B. Race 1 winner, well, would have been race 1 winner after the lap back would be Dr. Hannes Skip, as he's in 3rd at the moment. Spammers in the Payball car heading down towards Kielkop. He's following on behind Yotti Nusios and Philip Cruiser. So the Class C guys now spread out evenly between the 4 cars there. Not really much action amongst the Class C competitors. The WeFix Cars car, the only one out there at the moment is Stilio, of course, is on the sideline. Oh, it's late braking from the 55 car there. And pushing it to the limit to stay ahead of this Class B pack. You can see not an easy thing to do amongst these Class B competitors because they are so evenly matched. Ethan Kutsia hanging on to the front end and looking for a chance now for his first win in a long time in a race car if he can stay up the front end of the Class B field. Top 3 in Class A coming into Unchini 1 and 2. Masters looking for a way past on the champion Rory Atkinson. And he's got Smallberger for great company onto that back straightaway, now trying to use that slipstream effect. Voldy Mike is back up ahead of Dean Ross into 4th place for him. BHRT versus Performance Masters versus the Sabertech and Universal Motorsport team. Is that Bjorn? Yeah, Bjorn's back on track as well, so good to see they got that car fired up again, but he'll be about half a lap down there, and Yoti Nosios is closing in on him for Class C. Change up. Oh, we got a massive change up here. Yeah, a huge change up. Something went wrong in Class A down towards Gielkop corner, and the leader, as they came across the last lap, was the 3rd car there, the pink one of Rory Atkinson. He's down in 3rd now. Smallberger up into 2nd, and looks like they might have run wide. They're probably in the same place that we've seen Hannes Skippers run wide there, and make his way up on the inside. So Mo Karodia is up in the 3rd place overall behind Dr. Hannes Skippers, and looking for a 2nd place now as they come down towards turn 1. Slowly but surely things have changed up there dramatically. Voldy Mikey's currently leads out Class A. Smallberger, Atkinson and Wayne Masters. Class B at this point in time is Ethan Kutsia, and he's got some hard charges coming behind him, but they're starting to slow each other up and giving Kutsia a bit of room to play. Skippers from Mo Karodia. Bjorn Bertolt spins out there in the back in the Renogen car, and there's a car on the sideline there as well, which is a bit of a concern too. If I'm not mistaken, that might have been either Ross Butt. I'm just looking to see another car that could potentially be the one in question on the sideline. I think it is actually Ross Butt who's on the sideline there, which is a bit of a pity. Anyway, let's go back here. This is Kutsia, Skippers, Williams, and now coming through there, Mo Karodia dropping down into the clutches as he gets outgunned there by Mussolini. Pierluigi Mussolini moving up 1 place and dropping Mo Karodia into the clutches of Charisse Piazzamusso. Through the right-handers into the straightaway. Diavo Turon trying to make up some ground there as they come out of penultimate corner. Voldy Mikey's continues to lead things out here for Class A anyway. He's got an arch rival that's been an arch rival for a long time on his tail. Mussolini from Williams, Williams from Karodia, Piazzamusso from Butt, and then it's Cruiser from Hayes. Hayes closes in. Oh, where are you going? Ethan Kutsia and Doc Skippers. Both of them running wide and putting wheels onto the dirt out of the penultimate corner there, Gielkop. Williams tucks on the inside with that battle-scarred Ram Customs car. Ahead now of Mo Karodia. Pressure being applied here by Atkinson onto the back end of Voldy Mikey's. Mikey's has not had a win in Pabar Volkswagen Challenge in a long, long time. So if he's in this position, he's certainly going to be looking for a chance. Mighty Mfana's just gone past Wayne Masters. Masters got problems. Wayne Masters dropping by the wayside there big time. He's dropped outside of the top 7, has Wayne Masters. So some issues there for the Performance Masters Polo. Top 3 getting away. Ahead now of Dean Ross. No answer there from Dean Ross on the pace of the first 3. But if they start to fight it out, they might slow each other down. And that might give Ross a bit of a sniff there to close that gap. It's only a small gap. There it is to Dean Ross. And he's going to try and hang on to keep out the rest of that pack. They're onto that back straight away. So as they come down that back straight, you can see things starting to change up ever so slightly there in terms of how things are going to finish up there. Mike Bobaglia, fortunately not in this one. But Dean Ross certainly is, so is Mighty Mfana and Diavo Turon. It's going to be one of Mighty Mfana's best finishes in Class A as well, as our top 3 come to finish the lap. Here they come. And it's 4 to go. Halfway stage reached. And still Valdimankie's double or yellow flag into turn 1, so no overtaking. Not quite sure what the car is or who's involved in an incident that's caused for that yellow flag into turn 1. It must be just out of our shot. Oh, Jacques Hayes into the kitty litter on the exit of the fast right-hander. Caught that one, lucky enough. I've seen that go completely wrong in the past in Volkswagen Challenge. Cars into that kitty litter at that pace usually end up rolling. So Hayes very lucky to survive that. But Butt and Cruiser continue the fight that he was involved in initially. As they come down to 1, everybody's seeing that yellow. Well, hopefully everybody saw the yellow flag. Class C still in the hands of Yotinusias there. The WeFix cars. Polo leads out over the ATE brake machine of beg your pardon, Philip Cruiser. I was looking across and seeing Francois Vincel's name as I said Philip's name. Apologies there, Phil. The Pabar car in 3rd is Anderson. So Charles Anderson having a much better run here in the 2nd heat. Across the line go the top 3 in Class C. No problems there for them. Not really any challenges just yet. Maybe a bit later on in the race we'll see a bit more of a shot at the front there from Philip Cruiser. If he can just bridge the margin there slightly. Back to the front end of Class A. Mikey's hangs on. He wants this win. You are not going to beat Valdi Mikey's today. It has been a long time. I would say probably over a year since we've seen Valdi Mikey's on the top step of the podium. And Charles Smallberger wants that 2nd step from Rory Atkinson. Cars stricken all over the circuit, as you can see. One in the background there, one just to the left-hand side of our shot right now in the kitty litter. Ross Butt's got ahead now of Bevan Williams. As these two go side by side, that's Mussolini looking for a way to squeeze through, and does so into that very fast right-handed outgun Mo Carodia for Fast 5 Motorsport. But it's Ethan Kutsia who hangs on to keep the dock at bay. Three laps to go for Class B. Hannah Skipper's going to try and find something special in his last 3 laps to catch and pass Ethan Kutsia if he can. Mussolini and Carodia going into turn 1. There was still a yellow flag waving there, so no chance for an overtake there from Mo Carodia's point of view. No change up yet amongst the top 3. Although it does look like Charles Moorberger is definitely putting a bit more pressure onto the back end there of Rory Atkinson. So will there be a possible change up by the time that checkered flag comes out in about 2.5 laps time? So evenly matched. Those Dunlops crying out now. There's not much rubber left on those tyres after 2 hotly contested races in Pabar Volkswagen Challenge. Skipper's trying to close down on Kutsia for the lead of Class B. The 2 of them have pulled away a big margin over the 3rd spot. So it's literally a battle between these 2 to sort it all out. JRT Racing versus the DDS Polo Danefern Dental Services machine of Dr. Hannes Skippers himself onto that back straight away. Look at the gap they've got now. There's 3rd place coming onto the back one. It's Butt from Carodia. Mussolini from Carodia, beg your pardon. Mussolini from Carodia. Let's see, starting to get a little bit tail happy out of that right-hander. Carodia trying to close down on Mussolini. Wants to come back at him if he can. Kutsia with 2 to go. He's going to try and keep Doc Skippers behind him. And he's doing that to perfection at the moment for that JRT Racing machine. They head down to the flicks and into turn 2. That's how it's going to be right now. The pressure's still on and maintains huge pressure. Smallberger on the back end of Atkinson. I don't think you guys are going to catch Valdi. He is in the lead of this race and he is fighting hard for it. He does not want to give this up. Oh, Atkinson runs wide. Is that a chance for Smallberger to pounce? Shaw will carry much better corner speed through that final Uncini onto the back straight. Can he use it to his advantage though? No, because Rory was able to just keep it buried even though he was off track. He wasn't worried about backing off at all. Carodia's still not backing off onto the pressure being applied onto Mussolini. Williams is in a fight there with Cruiser and Butt. And a nice little fight that's starting to heat up there between Ross Butt and Alna Cruiser. Carries that corner speed nicely through Uncini 2. Now trying to get into that slipstream. Onto the back straight away, Butt from Cruiser. Cruiser using Bevan Williams' slip. And will she get through at the end of the straight? She's going to have a big look. Oh, a massive look there from Cruiser to try and find a way through there. Didn't quite get it all according to plan though. And she runs wide out of the right-hander. That allows Ross Butt to come back at her. So Ross Butt dives back up the inside and finds a way through again. He tries to carry the corner speed and get onto the back end now. Bevan Williams looks to dive on the inside into the final corner, but has to go defensive to keep out Alna Cruiser. Waiting to pick up those pieces is Sitane and Kube. And Francois Van Zyl all on his own, some just behind that. So Class A coming up onto the back end of Class C now. So it looks like our Class A competitors are about to catch the back end. And that will be Jan Spammers that's about to be caught and passed by the top 3 in Class A. As I said, you're going to be hard-pressed to beat Valdi Monkeys, knowing he's up for a win. And it'll be a first win in a long time there for Valdi Monkeys. Will he put Spammers between himself and the other 2 cars? Looks like he's going to try and do that. He might have timed this to perfection, actually. And he has. He's going to have Spammers around the outside, which just makes you look across to that car and just make sure that he's not going to be in your way before you attempt the overtake. Atkinson's through, so is Smallberger. So it's not quite done yet, but it's almost there. Coming to the line. Valdi Monkeys hunting for the first win in a long time. And he's going to get it. He takes the win. Oh, and Atkinson almost outgunned there by Smallberger, running wide, but hangs on for third place. So it's Atkinson for second, Smallberger for third. Run down to the line there. Mighty Mfana beating Wayne Masters. And then Steve to run behind that. Carodia, has he been able to find his way through Leon Mussolini? No, he hasn't. It's the battle for third place in Class B. Leaders of Class B should be heading to the final corner right now. And there they come. Ethan Kutsia for the win in Class B. And he takes it ahead of Dr. Hannes Kiepers. Third place going to be going to Mussolini. Pierluigi Mussolini comes through for third place with Carodia behind that. As that Alma Cruiser has made her way to the front end of that second battle, it looks like it was. Van Zyl comes through and wraps up the back end of Class B. Just waiting for our Class C competitors to come to the line. The WeFix Cars machine of Nusias will be your first car from Class C. There it comes. Yachty still hanging on ahead of Cruiser. He's done this to perfection as well. Literally flag to flag in both heats there for Yachty Nusias and the WeFix Cars Polo. Ahead of ATE's Philip Cruiser. And Charles Anderson will come through for third place for Pabar. So that's how we wrap things up there for our Pabar Volkswagen Challenge Race 2.
Thank you. Got a good pole last night, so I was very happy. One race won. Race 2, we had a big fight to the end. Wayne gave me a little tap. And congrats to Charles and Valdi, who consequently won the race, and he just had the pace at the end. We weren't going to catch him, so good one.
Volby, talk me through that second race there. How was it out there?
Yes, it was hectic initially. We came into the second last corner and I saw Rory have a bit of a slide. Wayne slid with him and I took Charles out as well, and the Red Sea just parted for me, and I shot to the inside, got past, and initially I thought that the guys were going to catch me. Rory was quick through certain pieces, I was a little bit quicker through different parts of the track, and I managed to win again, so it's been a long one since my last win, but I'll take it. It was great, and it motivates me for the next race.
Gatti, double on the day, eh? Was it double?
Double podium. I love Phakisa, track I really enjoy. Hard on the cars, it claimed quite a few cars today. I think we're 10 down, which is a big pity for a lot of the guys. They'll fix their car, they'll be back, I'm sure, 10 times stronger. Race 1, I had a clear lead, pulled it away, maintained it to the end, managed to get the fastest lap in race 1, and in race 2, had my podium. On laps 5, 6, 7, I had worn tyres. Philip was there, was catching, but managed to hold it to the end.
Ethan, talk me through your day. You got overall in Class B. You got to be happy about that, eh?
Yeah, well, I was quick the whole weekend, and during quali, we were on the wrong strategy, so I had to start 9th. Race 1, I was confident that I could fight my way through, and I came from 9th to 4th. And then doing that, I got the fastest lap. So for race 2, I started pole, and I just led the race from start to finish. And honestly, I couldn't have done it without the help of my team, JRT Racing, and also with a bit of help from Lee Thompson Racing. And all in all, I'm happy, and it was a very good weekend.